Brought to you by the new Pharaoh's Lounge Kickstarter. The only place you can currently get your AracKnight Chapter 1 textbooks. Available in Mary Jane Steel Bikini, Nude, and Mature Steel Bikini. That is the AracKnight 1. We are engorged in the AracKnight 2. Let's see where we leave off now. We are getting towards pages 7 and 8 now. We are 6 pages in to our AracKnight Chapter 2 script. The AracKnight Chapter 1, I went back and read it the other day. Anytime you ever feel down on yourself, you got to read your old work and decide if you know the test of your old work, if you're constantly like putting it down and getting distracted looking at other things, or if you're just reading it straight through. And the beauty of a comic book is that when you read a fucking comic book, you should be picturing it going on. You should be picturing your imagination, the action happening in front of you. And if you're really having fun, you're trying to pick out which character you identify with, and you're talking as that character, and you're casting the part in your head. Oh, it's a goddamn beautiful fucking thing. So, all right, so let's get you caught up before we jump into the new pages. Pages 1 through 6 so far that we've got done. We wanted to do like kind of like a really cool Batman, the animated series homage. We have the criminals and the dirigibles across the city. We have J. Jonah Jameson, who's basically broadcasting over the city, talking about the city under siege. He's mad because the player is shaking down all the rich people to provide extra security forces to protect Empire City from the destruction and sabotage of the Mars colony, which is the ransom being held across by the Sinister Six. Dr. Octopus! We show the cars. We show the criminals getting to the roof. The complete animated series homage. Spider-Man fucking beating the shit out of both of them. But just as we have him posing with the lightning as the beginning of the show, he is shot at by the dirigible. Spider-Man climbs up, gets a hold of the dirigible. He fights off all the Master Planet strangely garbed thugs. He beats the shit out of both of them. He shoots and throws his web bowlers at him. Just as he's about to swing into the cockpit and think he's going to save the day and be fucking slick, there is a booby trap. The dirigible starts to deflate, and before it can crash into a building, Spider-Man shoots up a big bunch of fucking webs, uses up all his web fluid, but manages to shoot a big, nice web cocoon to catch the dirigible, get himself on camera, and now we get him into a job interview with Now Magazine. Because again, the plot is we have Peter Parker doing like a Batman thing. He's wearing a black suit. I haven't decided whether he's the last issue I'll add in the part where he says put a spider logo on the chest, or we'll do that here where he's just kind of wearing a black suit with some silver trim. Because we showed him kind of messing with the web shooters, the exoskeleton. In the first issue, he fights the enforcers. There's some flaws in the fight. We can't just have him be a perfect fighter. He's got to still fold the tricks, which he does here in our new script. With the dirigible booby trap, it deflates. He tries to climb up and save the day, but he falls into the deflating balloon of the dirigible blimp. Of course, Ben's there, kind of watching along on a drone, which is also taking pictures. Peter uses these pictures of the crime scene to bring to his Now Magazine interview, where he flirts with Betty Brant, where we kind of do the whole Mad Men. But I also have my artist draw. We're gonna have Stan Lee, the old school Stan Lee from the '70s, is gonna be our J. Jonah Jameson for the comic book. I'm gonna have my pencil at Emil. We might even do a Stan Lee cover with like Betty Brant as a really hot, busty Mad Men Christina Hendricks like cover model, our Miss Moneypenny, if you will. And then we have the idea is that he's working alongside Uncle Ben. Uncle Ben is his eyes and ears, like Alfred was to Batman. This way, we don't need to have Spider-Man talking to himself. The idea is that he can have his wise-ass communications with Uncle Ben over their radios. You sleeping, baby? My bulldog is snoring. All right, so we have our scene here. The web cocoon that he uses to save the dirigible gets us to page 6, where he is now. Oh wait, shit! Did we do 2 more pages? We got to page 6. Okay, where he's flirting with Betty Brant. Jay Jonason calls him in. He's going through his portfolio. Crap, 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 crap. Oh, wait. No, crap, crap. Here we go. This is the action. This is the beat of Empire City. This happened last night. How the hell did you get this? Well, sir, I got access to a particularly high-end set of drones. I lost my parents at a very early age, which came with a rather generous trust fund, which I've used to acquire the best skyline tech in the game, as well as a rooftop apartment. You see, this was a lucky shot, sir. Right place, right time. I was hoping that as a member of the Now Magazine staff, I would be able to work along your best investigators. Perhaps get a lead on this organization that is harassing the Empire. Oh, so that was it. We ended it right there. We ended it with Jameson and Peter interviewing for the job. I was gonna throw in a seventh panel that showed them shaking hands, but I don't think we fucking need that. We're just gonna pretty much go through our next pages. The object of today's class is to write pages 7 and 8. As always, we go through one comic book. The goal of mining 6 panels and dialogue. Whereas we find it's just short on the dialogue, we will use the narrative box to be written into the story to add a little more lettering and paint later on once the pencils, inks, and colors are done. The idea is right now the guy that I'm going to use to work on this AracKnight graphic novel is finishing up the latest Faro. We've got about 8 pages to go. As soon as he's done, I'm slotting him right into this. So not only will we have the novels of the AracKnight, we'll be able to put out the working script, the line art, the pencils, the inks, and as we'll get it colored, we're going to have different versions of this book, and we'll keep the script so you can use the script as a companion to see the art getting finished, to how we make the comic book, literally from the genesis of the writing here, mining the old comic books for ideas, for all-star information, for our own spin on it, and kind of going into the production of it. And from the production to the finished work, to your criticisms, to when we could sell it and then have to take it the fuck down before Marvel and Disney sues the shit out of us. So, now I like that we bring back, what I did was, reading old Fantastic Fours, instead of just saying Atlantean Easter eggs, we're going to use an Atlantean MacGuffin. Maybe use it in the story, maybe swing it over to the Fantastic Four. The idea is that we have the Fantastic Four are the 4 astronauts that are going to be launching on the Mars colony, which is going to be the culminate scene in our story where Spider-Man has to save the day, and we're going to have the Chameleon's going to sabotage it, and the idea is Spider-Man might take the blame. We really have an idea of where we want to get to the end of this story, but the best part is getting there. The fun part, you just say, okay, this is the end. This is what we want to do. Spider-Man fucking the Chameleon fight, James Bond villain style. Spider-Man kills the Chameleon. In the end, the fucking colony goes off without a problem. Bada bing, bada boom. So we need a reason, not just for money and ransom. And we have to introduce the idea of Ben is, the voice of reason in Spider-Man's ear. Again, like Alfred was to Bruce Wayne. And it's also better because, again, otherwise it's just Peter Parker talking to himself all the time. It's more fun for Peter to have a foil. Plus, we can play with the Luke Skywalker Ben Kenobi dynamic by having him, the fact that he's Ben. We can always use the Ben, why didn't you tell me? So, what do we have in our notes? Peter can attend a game of the Empire City Giants with star quarterback Flash Thompson. Introduce Commissioner Stacy. Commission. Perhaps save Gwen for another story. We shall see. Betty Brant will be on Miss Moneypenny. We did that already. We got that. After saving the dirigible, Ben will pick him up a la Alfred and help tend to his wounds, then get him set, cleaned up for his job interview with Now Magazine and J. Jonah Jameson. Took care of that. Possibly use the Horn of Atlantis as a goal of the Sinister Six to acquire. So again, I'm not sure we're going to use it yet. We used it. I've moved it into the first script. That Horn of Atlantis that we took pictures of from the Fantastic Four issue, which the Submariner uses to waken this huge monster to fucking drown New York City and fucking attack. We're going to play with it. Because remember, we can have supernatural elements. This is our Game of Thrones like altering of the Marvel Universe. It's not called New York City, it's called Empire City. This could be a futuristic New York. This could be an alternative New York. It's anything you want it to be. And that's the best part of making the comic book is having your own mythology. As long as you stick to your mythology, don't just jump all over the place for the sake of story, because that's how you get plot holes and painted corners. We're going to move our notes. Our goal is to get to page 9 today, page 7 and 8 finished. We want to get these notes to the beginning of page 9. All right, so we're leaving off. Peter is interviewing with J. Jonah Jameson. He is using Jameson because he needs to get the lead reporters in the city to figure out who the fuck is linked to the man who is currently harassing Empire City. We've made the ransom about 10 billion. We can bring it up to 100. We're playing around. We want to see what a good money figure is without being too ridiculous. But also, if it's too low, it doesn't warrant the concern. But I remember, like in Thunderball, they steal nuclear missiles and they threaten to shoot the missiles at New York and London, or Miami and London. And I remember James Bond's got to save the day. We're doing something similar, our own little fun with it, but instead, of course, shooting a missile at the city, which has been done a billion times, they're going to sabotage the upcoming launch of the Mars colony. The big MacGuffin here. So, here we are. Perhaps get a lead on this organization that is harassing the Empire. Now, we can stay here in pages 7 and 8 and play with J. Jonah Jameson, telling him he wants to go after the Spider-Man. And he can even say, it's probably this idiot jumping around the city, raising money for his little coup. Oh, fuck, since we're talking about it, let's put it in there. So let's go back to our line here. Peter is sitting with Jameson. Jameson's ripping through his portfolio. He's telling him, I got access to a particularly high set of drones. Lost my parents. Generous trust fund. Best skyline tech in the game, rooftop apartment. This was a lucky shot, sir. Right place, right time. I was hoping that as a member of the Now magazine staff, I should be able to work alongside your best investigators. Perhaps get a lead on this organization that's harassing the Empire. All right, that's 6 panels. Let's stay with Jonah and Peter. Perhaps get a lead on this organization that's harassing the Empire. Jameson comically tosses Peter's portfolio book at him while spinning around to light a cigar and look upon the city escape outside of his window. This is when we'll introduce Jonah's dislike of Spider-Man. JJJ. Organization. Remember, this is Stan Lee. Organization? Bah. It's all a hoax. Some dumb nitwit. Some dumb nit with access to cameras. See, the idea is that we might almost comically have here J. Jonah Jameson describing Spider-Man as the head of the Sinister Six. So what we got to play with here is organization. Bah, it's all a hoax. Some dumb nit with the access, the high tech. Some dumb nit with access to high tech and a chip on his shoulder. Organization. Bah, it's all a hoax. Some dumb nit with access to high tech and a chip on his shoulder. Probably some contractor. Probably some contractor who lost the bid. Who lost the bid to build the colony. Probably some contractor who lost the bid to build the colony. Now he's taking it out. Now he's taking it out on hardworking, successful people like me. Jameson comically tosses Peter's portfolio book at him while spinning to light a cigar and look upon the cityscape outside of his window, not this window, outside of the window. Organization? Bah, it's all a hoax. Some dumb nit with access to high tech and a chip on his shoulder. Probably some contractor who lost the bid to build the colony. Now he's taking it out on hardworking, successful people like me. Jonah turns to Peter. Jonah turns to Peter and gets in his face. The cigar smoke nearly choking Peter to the cigar smoke nearly choking Peter. The cigar smoke choking Peter to a near cough. Coughing fit. Here we go. Jonah turns to Peter and gets in his face. The cigar smoke choking Peter to a near coughing fit. Some dumb nitwit with access to high tech and a chip on his shoulder. No, it's not access. Some dumb nitwit. Some dumb nitwit. Some dumb nitwit. Some dork. No. Some nitwit who couldn't get a date. Organization? It's all a hoax. Some nitwit who couldn't get a date and has a chip on his shoulder. And has. Some nitwit who couldn't get a date and has a chip on his shoulder. Probably some contractor who lost the bid to build the colony. And now he's taken out on hardworking, successful people like me. JJJ. And what makes you think that this spider, that this flying rodent, and we think this flying insect doesn't have something to do with this? And what makes you think that this flying insect doesn't have something to do with this? Peter will say. Peter coughing. Well, sir, technically. Technically, spiders are. Well, sir, technically, spiders are guilty. Guilty. Slimy creatures. Slimy creatures filled with fuzz. Slimy creatures. Well, sir, technically spiders are guilty. Slimy creatures filled with fluid. Slimy creatures filled with fluid. I don't even want to think about it. But then there is a ransom placed upon the city. And the next night, and the following nights, a masked man stalks the roof. Stalks the what? Stalks the sky? No. I still like it. What makes you think that this flying insect doesn't have something to do with this? Well, sir, technically, spider. You know, technically, sir, spiders are guilty. Slimy creatures filled with fluid. Slimy creatures filled with sticky fluid. I don't even want to think about it. Then there is a ransom placed upon the city, and the following nights a masked man stalks the rooftops, taking out thugs and posing for the camp. Slimy creatures filled with sticky fluid. I don't even want to think about it. But then there is the ransom placed upon the city, and the following nights a masked man stalks the rooftops, taking out thugs and posing for your cameras. Posing for your camera. Close up on Peter, sweating from the smoke inhalation, but also starting to worry that JJJ is on to him. Inhalation. Peter would like close up on Peter. Now Peter's a little sweaty. He's getting a little hot under the collar. He feels like Jonah's onto him. And Joe, I see he's sir, are you implying? Sir, are you implying I'm damn well stating? I'm damn well proclaiming. Spider-Man is a menace to this city. Close up on Peter, sweating from the smoke inhalation, but also starting to worry that JJJ is onto him. Sir, are you implying I'm damn well proclaiming Spider-Man is a menace to this city? Evening, there's new. Oh, good for me. I'm damn well proclaiming. Close up on Peter, sweating from the smoke inhalation, but also starting to worry that JJJ is onto him. Sir, are you implying I'm damn well proclaiming Spider-Man is a menace to this city? And together, we will push that narrative. I'm damn well proclaiming Spider-Man is a menace to this city. And together we will push that narrative. We will push that narrative until this ransom like, comes undone. I'm damn well proclaiming Spider-Man is a menace to this city. And together we will push that narrative until this ransom comes undone. Okay. So where do we stay? Where do we go from here? That's the real question. I'm damn well proclaiming Spider-Man is a menace to this city. And together we will push that narrative until this ransom comes undone. Jonah falls back into his chair. While Peter stands up, turning his back to Peter. While Peter stands, while Peter stands up and tries to chat with Jonah further. We see Betty coming into the office, coming into Jonah's office behind Peter. Jonah falls back into his chair, turning his back to Peter, while Peter stands up and tries to chat with Jonah further. We see Betty coming to Jonah's office behind Peter. All right, so we're just setting up him, get the fuck out of here. You know what I mean? Like, all right, you got your job, get out of here. Till this ransom comes undone. Okay. He's settling, saying the Mars colony is the biggest science project. The Mars colony is the biggest science project being put upon this planet. The Mars colony is the biggest science project ever being put upon this planet. All eyes and all streams will be on Empire City. The mayor knows the stakes. Where do we want to go with this? I need to get the fuck out of here. I need Jonah to kind of give a little push here, which helps paint Jonah's character. And this kind of gets the whole, all right, Peter, get the fuck out of here. And this gets Peter over to page 8, which gets us to our next pinpoint in the story. But we don't force it, and I can't stand filler. I hate filler. Filler has to be good. Otherwise, it's fucking filler. The Mars colony. We need Jonah's logic here. Jonah just said, Spider-Man's a menace. I need this page. I need Jonah falling back into his chair to give me an explanation as to why, whether it's real or not. The Mars colony is the biggest science project ever being put upon this planet. All eyes and all streams will be on Empire City. The mayor is calling for all hands on deck. And he's collecting. I have to provide some additional firepower. The Mars colony is the biggest science project ever being put upon this planet. Ever being put upon this planet, Peter. That's his name. All eyes and all streams will be on Empire City. The mayor is calling for all hands on deck. And he's collecting. And he's collecting. So if I have to provide some additional firepower, we need a lead. I want you to follow that Spider-Man. I know he is behind this. Or he's a trigger man. Peter will say, and if he isn't, that's not your job. I like that's not your job. I'm going to give him the old Randolph Hearst line. You provide the pictures, son. I'll provide the see like Hearst said the war. Now you provide the pictures, son. I'll provide the war. You provide the pictures, son. I'll provide the Betty. There we go. I like that. We need a lead. I want you to follow that Spider-Man. I know he's behind this. Well, he's the trigger man. We need a lead. Okay, so it doesn't make sense though. Is that the thing? It doesn't make sense. The Mars colony is the biggest science project ever being put upon this planet, Peter. All eyes and all streams will be on Empire City. The mayor is calling for all hands on deck, and he's collecting. So I have to provide some additional firepower. We need a lead. I want you to follow that Spider-Man. I know he's behind this. Well, he's the trigger man. Well, he's a trigger man. And if he isn't, because the irony is Peter will run into the chameleon. The chameleon will of course, be paying attention to these streams where Jonah's saying that Spider-Man is the guy behind all this shit. And the chameleon's the trigger man, who will dress up as Spider-Man, thereby taking Jonah's idea, framing Spider-Man for this shit. Oh, don't you love writing fucking comic books? And if he isn't, you provide the pictures, son. I'll provide the Betty. And Betty's behind him. Betty Brant. Yes, sir. Yes, sir, Mr. Jameson. Okay, so Betty comes in. Should we have a nice little call me moment? Or do we have Peter? Does Peter leave the building through the window and do like a Superman thing? Or that's too cheesy? Does he get in with Ben and have a quick little scene with Ben before we move on to the next rung of our pyramid here? Peter has to climb the pyramid to get to Dr. Octopus. Essentially, we're in video game mode here, where we have Peter wants to get to Dr. Octopus. He shouldn't get to him in this novel unless it's an interesting part of our story. The idea is that we have to railroad Peter into the chameleon, which means we have to reintroduce the chameleon into our story, or the chameleon just comes in and attacks Peter. So we can't just have him just beating up nameless thugs. It's boring, and nobody needs to read our Spider-Man story if you can just read that in any fucking Spider-Man story. We have to be different. We have to be better. We have to be more creative, or at least more interesting. If the better can't be a decisive word, I mean the idea is more interesting. We have to have an interesting, unique take on a classic character. It's like writing James Bond or Dracula. So the idea is Peter just got a job. He's literally telling him, I want you to follow the Spider Man. I want to pin all this fucking shit on him. Peter's like, well, dude, close up on Jameson. Close up on Betty, flirting, smiling flirtatiously. I have no idea how to spell that word because I'm retarded. Flirtatiously with Peter. As Jonah kicks him out of his office. Whoosh. Yes, sir, Mr. Jameson. Tell Peter he's hired, then tell him to get out. Tell Peter he's hired, then tell him to get out. Tell Peter he's hired, then tell him to get out. Then get me coffee. And get me a double espresso. Tell Peter he's hired, then tell him to get out. Then get me a double espresso. Boom. Peter and Betty smiling at each other. We get that hot little thing as Jonah kicks him out of the office. And just because I'm a misogynist piece of shit pig, close up on Betty's cleavage. As Peter catches himself staring. Boom. Tell Peter he's hired. Then tell him to get out. And get me a double espresso. We cut to. So we need one more scene here. Because this is basically Peter in an office. We could even have two more panels in it because, again, in terms of art, there's no action on this page. You don't really need, in terms of your panel distribution of space, your real estate. Because, again, it's Jameson going through the portfolio book, tossing it to Peter. Jonah getting in his face, the cigar. So, again, this is kind of like a fun page. No action here. Close up on Peter choking. So you can have those three pages right up top. Three panels up top, or if you're spreading it out. Jonah falling back into the chair. Empire City going on around him. We have Betty smiling. So we're going to put two more panels in here. We'll do a panel 6 and a panel 7. So now what we need is Peter's leaving. A quick two panels where we need to bridge to our next scene. He just got a job with Now Magazine. He wanted to use Now Magazine to get to the next step, but it turns out even Jonah doesn't know what's going on. Jonah's clueless. So this is what we're going to explain here. Peter needs a quick scene with Uncle Ben. So what are we going to do now? So now we got to make our next move here. We're going to finish this page, and I'm going to read two fucking comic books to get our next scene. We need to figure out what our next scene is. So if you did your homework, Amazing Spider-Man 35 and 36. Starting with 35, of course. The Return of the Molten Man. We can even use, see again how fate intertwines. We can use the fucking Molten Man. We could just use a throwaway villain here. We just did the dirigible. We did Spider-Man, uh, fucking all that up. You know what I mean? What's the word we're looking for? Sabotaging. You sabotaged whatever they were trying to do on that dirigible, whatever that crime was. We could throw in the Horn of Atlantis. We could throw in the fucking Vulture. We could do anything we want. This is All-Star Spider-Man. We call it the AracKnight. So what we need here is Peter getting into the car. Cut to Peter at the front. We cut to Peter at the front of the Now magazine building. He stares up to admire the Daily Planet like design up top as he watches the skyline of Empire City. Off to his side, we see someone hand him a large cup of steaming coffee, of a steaming drink, of steaming tea, steaming hot tea. We cut to Peter at the front of the Now magazine building. He stares up to admire the Daily Planet like design up top as he watches the skyline of Empire City. Off to his side, we see someone hand him a large cup of steaming hot tea. Did it work? Are you gainfully employed? Did it work? Are you gainfully employed? Got the gig. I got the gig. He doesn't know, but he doesn't know anymore. But he doesn't know any more about the terrorists than we do. He's convinced it's Spider-Man. Did it work? Are you gainfully employed? I got the gig, but he doesn't know any more about the terrorists than we do. He's convinced it's Spider-Man. A glory hound seeking the spotlight. A glory hound seeking the spotlight while pushing a hoax, a hoax sabotage plan he can't afford. Jameson is just a cheapskate. He doesn't want to cough up extra security. Jameson is just a cheapskate who doesn't want to cough up extra security. Pushes a villain. He sells streams. says Jameson is just a cheapskate who doesn't want to cough up for extra security. He's in it for the eyeballs. He's in it for the eyeballs. He pushes a villain. He sells streams. He's convinced that Spider-Man, a glory hound seeking the spotlight while pushing a hoax sabotage plan he can't afford. Jameson is just a cheapskate who doesn't want to cough up for extra security. He's in it for the eyeballs. He pushes a villain. He sells streams. So what we do is let's show Peter. 'Cause this is a lot of dialogue here, but it's just dialogue to a handoff camera. We don't need to see Uncle Ben yet. So what we have here is just basically a kind of like exposition. I like it. Like I said, we're driving our narrative. He doesn't know any more about the terrorist than we do. He's convinced it's Spider-Man, a glory hound seeking the spotlight while pushing a hoax sabotage plan he can't afford. Jameson's just a cheapskate who doesn't want to cough up for the extra security. He's in it for the eyeballs. He pushes a villain. He sells streams. Question is, how do we just end the panel with him just drinking fucking tea? I got the gig. We cut to Peter. Here we are, panel 6. We cut to Peter at the front of Now Magazine building. He stares up to admire the Daily Planet-like design up top as he watches the skyline of Empire City. Off to his side, we see someone hand him a large cup of steaming hot tea. Did it work? Are you gainfully employed? I got the gig. He doesn't seem to know any more about the terrorist than we do. He's convinced it's Spider-Man, a glory hound seeking the spotlight while pushing a hoax sabotage plan he can't afford. Jameson is just a cheapskate who doesn't want to cough up for extra security. He's in it for the eyeballs. He pushes a villain, he sells streams. All right, here we go. I got it. We show. All right, that's how we end panels, page 7. Because I didn't want to just say, oh, they walk away and that's it. That's the end of the fucking panel. It doesn't make any art sense. As we pan out of Peter and Ben walking away with their coffees, we see a dark figure, a dark trench coated figure watching them from the distance. The chameleon. Ooh, yes. Here we go. So that's how we end. Because I didn't want to just say, oh, they walk away. What's the point of the extra panel then? The idea is that Ben brings him a coffee. He's got his back. They're talking like him and Alfred or him and Lucius Fox. And now they walk away. He pushes a villain. He sells streams. Here we go. Oh, I love it. So now we're back to square one. So now we're back to square one. So now we're back to square one. You're a retired pilot, and I'm a high school dropout. You're a retired pilot, and I'm a high school dropout. So now we're back to square one. You're a retired pilot, and I'm a high school dropout. We're not detectives, Ben. So now we're back to square one. You're a retired pilot, and I'm a high school dropout. We're not detectives, Ben. And what does Ben say? We need a good ending line here, and then they're being watched. As we pan out of Peter and Ben walking away with their coffees, with their steaming coffees, we see a dark, trench-coated figure watching them from a distance. Oh, so now we're back to square one. You're a retired pilot, and I'm a high school dropout. We're not detectives, Ben. Well, at least old man Jameson is now paying. Well, at least old man Jameson is now paying. Well, at least, well, at least now old man Jameson. I like this. Okay, now I got it. But at least now old man Jameson is now paying us. Or at least now old man Jameson is now paying us to do what we've already been doing. We got a corporate sponsor, kid. Bang! Great line. That's a fucking great line. I can't stand generic fucking dialogue. It's boring. Again, don't read my fucking comic book. Why you read? When you're an independent writer, you need to bring something to the table other than filler. And a lot of independent writers fall into that trap because they think, oh, just give me a cool panel shot. It doesn't matter. No, fucking dialogue matters. That's our part. So now back to square one. You're a retired pilot and I'm a high school dropout. We're not detectives, Ben. Well, at least now old man Jameson is paying us to do what we've already been doing. We got a corporate sponsor, kid. Boom. I fucking love it. I love that fucking line. We got a corporate sponsor, kid. Bang. Let's get to page 8. But before we get to page 8, let's look at the comic book, shall we? Brought to you by the new Faro's Lounge Kickstarter. I love writing comic books, man. All right. We are up to, in our homework, of course, Amazing Spider-Man 35. The goal today is to read 35 and 36. Should we need more mining, we'll go to the next issue and just keep bumping along the syllabus. So we have here 35. The Molten Man regrets. What does he regret? What will we find here that will inspire us for the 6 panels we need for page 8 to finish our mission for today's class? Because then I'm going to swim and order a huge steaming plate of Italian food. Change of pace, time action against climb aboard. Okay, so we've seen the Molten Man once already. Every time Spider-Man goes to see Professor Smythe, somebody comes in pissed off at Smythe. They fall into a vat of something fucking scary and stupid, and then end up becoming a fucking criminal, trying to kill and go after Spider-Man. But we might be able to use this guy here, because right now we need what we're at now. Was this Mark Raxton? That was his name. Yes. Okay, so what we need now is we've gotten to another endpoint here where basically when we get to the end of page 8, that's the end of Act 1. Okay, in terms of the chapter 2, it's broken up in 3 sections, 8 pages a section. You're playing with the math and the setup and the structure. It doesn't have to always be that way, but you see where we're going. We just left Now Magazine. Peter just got a job. He's got a corporate sponsor. So now Jonah's paying him to look. He was hoping to get to Now Magazine to use their investigative reporters to find out who was running the Sinister Six. Jonah reveals in that scene he doesn't know shit. His investors know nothing. Maybe we can cut to a scene of Peter working with a reporter. Ned Leeds, we can throw Ned Leeds in here. Even fucking Frederick Foswell. We can get to that. But what we need right now, our goal now as a class, as writers, is now with page 8, we don't know where we are. We got to get to our next scene. Peter is now has a corporate sponsor. Now Magazine's paying the bills. However, Now Magazine can't help him get to the next spot. He wants Jonah thinks it's fucking Spider-Man. He thinks go after Spider-Man. Says Peter's like, fuck, I was hoping you'd give me a lead, but now you're telling me I'm the lead. So we're back to square one, as he says. So what we need now coming into our 8th page is we need another fucking we got somebody watching them. We know it's the chameleon, of course, off page. We know, spoiler alert, it's the chameleon watching. We got to bring the chameleon back into our story, but before that, maybe the chameleon has a patsy. It could be this fucking guy. So let's go. Finally going to sentence me, huh? Well, I'm not worried. They usually tell me he's soft on first offenders. Raxton Hisner wants to see. Okay, so because you became what you are through a rather unfortunate accident, and you have offered to pay for the damages you've caused, I'm giving you a suspended sentence, Raxton. Thanks, Your Honor. You won't be sorry. All right, so the Molten Man is free. He's bending fucking bars. He's punching walls, but he's pissed off. He's covered in gold. I don't know how many chicks he can bang covered in gold. I won't make the mistake of running wild the second time. Using nothing but my power, this time I've figured out all the angles. First I'll lay low for a while, and then I'll strike! Alright, we got a guy here about to steal some gems, right? Thus, through the magic of our imagination, we now bridge the gap of time. Many days later, an exclusive Madison Avenue jewelry shop receives a distinguished-looking patron. Those gems are all too ordinary, too pedestrian. Have you nothing more exotic, more expensive? Why, yes, sir. We'll be delighted to show them to you. So he's got his disguise on. Remember, money is of no concern to me. You will only consider your very finest jewels. I'll have them in a moment, sir, as soon as I open this safe. Then he fucking beats him up. He gets in with the jewels. He shoots at him, says, "Ha ha, prick. I'm made of molten." But as a sagacious fate would have it, our friendly neighborhood Spider-Man is blithely romping along the rooftops. So you like Stanley used some great fucking vocabulary. You want to play around with that. You see, the narrative box that we're putting in to our scenes is what we can take, copy, paste, put it into lettering, and say, look, what I just wrote here, I want you to put into the scene. So that you dress it up a little bit. If it's Spider-Man just jumping along a cityscape. A lot of the time we make a mistake of writing a lot of cool narrative, and we don't use it in the actual comic book, it's just for the artist. So if you're having fun with the vocabulary and the words and the alliteration, because the words are art too. As a sagacious fate would have it, our friendly neighborhood Spider-Man is blithely romping across the rooftops, directly above at that very moment, which is as lucky for us as it is for the merchant below, else we'd have a superhero yawn sans superhero. See, that's fun. That's fourth wall breaking. Okay, I thought it was raining. So, he busts in, Spider Sense goes off, Molten Man punches him in the fucking face, knocks him unconscious. He's like, holy shit, this guy can fucking hit. I gotta jump along the rooftops. I gotta chase him through the sewer. He pulls off his fucking disguise. He smokes a fucking stove. Spider-Man swings through, says, where is this brick? He crushed a revolver in his bare hands. What's more, I gotta figure it out. There was something disturbingly familiar about him. If only I could put my finger on it. He could easily have been wearing a disguise, so he might have been as anybody. Perhaps even some former enemy of mine. Boy, he sure packed the punch like iron. That's it! The Molten Man! So do we want to bring in the Molten Man as our page 8 guy? We are going to have to end Act 1 right now. Act 1 could be him running afoul of the chameleon. As Peter and Ben are walking away, we see someone's watching them. Right? We got to our next step there by starting to introduce the next level of our story. A dark, trench-coated figure is watching the two of them walk away. He's stalking Peter again. Perhaps we could do a Craven thing here, because remember, it's the chameleon. He could be dressed up as Craven, and he could fuck with Peter. No harm away, but the point is, how do we get Peter and the chameleon together? What does he do to draw him out? So Peter stalks. I was right, he's living here again. I have no proof that Raxton is the man I'm after. He throws a little spider fucking tracer on him. We don't have our spider tracers yet. He's following Raxton. He's swinging around. He's watching him. He's got a hunch. He sees the next disguise. He's knowing he's going to fuck some shit up. He's breaking into a bank. Peter's taking fucking pictures. He jumps in, shoots the webs. It all comes off. The Molten Man and Peter fight. The man's made of molten gold. It's kind of a stupid fucking gimmick. I was never a big Molten Man fan, if we're going to be completely honest with you. He locks him in a bear hug. Using the metallic power of my molten body, I'll crush all the fight out of you with an unbreakable bear hug. Oh, you're just whistling in the dark, Motley. No bear hug can stop my webbing from zipping up to the ceiling and sticking there. What good'll that do you? I was hoping you'd ask. You're bluffing. Think so? Just watch. Moving with dazzling speed, the amazing Spider-Man does a sudden, breathtaking, acrobatic flip over. And then, can't hold on. Hope you're paying attention, Motley. You'll be the envy of the prison gym when you can demonstrate this little stunt to your fellow inmates. I'll just hold that pose, mister. Oh, we're gonna have a little... We could use the Molten Man here. We could do a throwaway since the Molten Man's kind of fucking cheesy. Just what I needed. A chance to escape. That shattered window is sure to bring the police. I've got to vanish before they arrive. Without nabbing me, no one can prove I was mobbed. So Peter's chasing. He's stalking. They're fighting. He's in the corner. He jumps on the wall. He fucking punches him right in the face. Again, another punch in the face. You know, they always did good action. Always good action. It was never boring. It was always like a good, like telling like a professional wrestling match that's supposed to tell a story. You know? And now something I made specially for you. I don't want you to be unprepared for your birthday. We've done him on the rooftop already taking out criminals. So perhaps we should involve some jewels or a MacGuffey, something. And that kick, you can even have a little spoof. You can have a joke with like, you can have jewels being stolen off like a makeshift Infinity Gauntlet, but instead you're playing around with it like it's the Infinity Gauntlet, but it's actually just jewels, and the display is made to look like an Infinity Gauntlet. I'm just shooting at horns here. We could use the Horn of Atlantis right now. Keep talking, creep. As soon as I land one more punch, you'll be able to again. So you're right, Big Mouth, especially since I've got both your hands now. Ah, what does that mean? Just keep holding on, you masked nitwit. Once I swing my arms around, you're gonna take a ride you're never gonna forget. But he gets him, shoots him into the floor, webs up his legs, smashes his head, pins him up like a bitch, fucks him in the ass with his finger. 1 second here. Even though the action's on, we want you to stick around for the wrap up. It won't take long. Peter has to go get his camera. You can't do this to me. I know my rights. You can't keep me here. I didn't do anything. I'm as innocent as a newborn baby. We're glad to hear that, Raxton. Wants to fetch your formula for you. Anyway, if you go charging out of here, you'll probably just get tied up by Spiderman again. You're better off where you are. Tell him, Sarge. My ears were burning. You mentioned my name. These pictures, all right. So, pictures him getting from the skies to the Molten Man. It shouldn't be hard to sell my remaining photos to Molten Man of Jolly Jonah. I'm nervous about facing Betty. Oh, you must be Peter Parker, the young photographer. I guess that's right, but where's Betty? Is she on vacation? No, she doesn't work here anymore, but she left me something with me. I was asked to give it to you when I saw you. Holy shit, I forgot about this. What about Ned Lees? Did he leave too? I believe he did. Go to the West Coast, actually. I'm still new here. I'm not sure everybody's whereabouts. He's been wanting to marry her. Now they're both gone. It must mean that what's wrong with you? What do I care? Here, I bought these photos for James. He can have them. What about your check? He knows where my address is. Let him mail it. Your picture, my picture, to Betty forever. Oh, this is the heartbreak. This is where he tosses it out. He loses Betty Brant, but he's going to get Betty Brant in this one. So, ladies and gentlemen, here we go, because we have a fucking throwaway villain right here. I didn't want to use the Molten Man. It really made no fucking sense. He's kind of a cheese dick. But we can go. We need a throwaway villain. Because what I'm thinking as I'm reading this is what we have is we cut to a scene of Peter going after a villain, whether it's Jules or the Horn of Atlantis. We're going to fuck around real quick and figure it out. What's going to happen next is Peter's going to beat up this throwaway villain, and as he's swinging to get away, someone's going to cut the line. Peter's going to crash, and upon his crash site, that's where he's going to come face to face with Kraven. We need to introduce the chameleon into this story. We were either going to use the Molten Man, or we're going to read this issue right now, or we might use this fucking dork. Because I totally almost forgot about this. In Amazing Spider-Man 36, came out in 1966, he fought this one-off. Again, these are a lot of the one-offs. Once they start getting into more story formatting, you get more multi-issue arcs. This is a squash match on WWE Superstars on the weekends on Saturday, where the Ultimate Warrior would come out with his belt, throw a guy up in the air, clothesline him, drop kick him, and fucking pin him in 3 seconds. When falls the fucking meteor. I forgot about these dumb fucking throwaways, in which Spidey must face the mortal menace of the uncanny looter. These are bad. A meteor falls. I knew it. It'd land here. Just the type I've been seeking. It'll prove now meteors contain microscopic living matter. So with this, I might solve the riddle of the universe. Fame and fortune will be mine. But Norton G. Fester is soon to learn that it takes more than a craving for wealth to solve universal secrets these days. It also takes money. I must have money to finance my research into the origin of life in the universe. Sorry, Fester. We're more interested in making new miracle ingredients for a hair tonic. Try a bank. But when I become as famous as Darwin, Galileo, Aristophanes, I'll pay you back with interest. Most generous of you, sir, but until then we prefer you borrow from some other institution. We have a guy down on his luck. He can't get money for his experiments. Norton G. Fester's not the type to take no for an answer. If he were, this would be the shortest Spider-Man tale on record. All my few remaining friends just turned me down. They call me a fanatic, a nut, just because I'm an undiscovered genius. They mock me because I'm too smart to work, too clever to hold down a job. Everyone's jealous of me. Okay, I won't want your money. I'll get along without it. So then he starts, just because I flunked science school doesn't mean I can't discover the secret of the universe. I've got as much chance as anyone else. Even if I can't raise money for a fancy lab and expensive equipment, I'll just chip away on my own. Maybe I'll accidentally stumble over something like Isaac Newton. So he hits a gas pocket. It shoots his face full of gas, creeping into his skin. He starts to feel different. This is pretty much Spider-Man again. He's got super strength. His human power is coursing through me. He can jump really high. He's basically fucking Superman by getting shot with gas from the meteor. Now we have some brand X dropouts suggest that we change the name of this mag to The Amazing Festerman. We'll switch our scene to the campus of Empire State U, where we find Peerless Peter engaged in one of his silent, swinging soliloquies. Due to my recent battles with Craven and the Molten Man, I've been forced to miss a lot of classes. And what's equally bad is the fact that everyone's had a chance to get to know each other and to form close friendships except Mrs. Parker's bad luck nephew. But better late than never, I'll start making with the charm now. Everyone blows Peter off. They think he's a dick. I still say you're wrong about Parker being a snob, Gwen, and I'll prove it to you. Be my guest. Hallelujah. Peter, remember me, I'm Sally Green. I'm your English Lit class. Can I talk to you? I'm having a get-together at my place just for the kids in the class. Say, sounds like a great idea. He's just as sweet as can be in that dreamy smile. So Gwen's into him. Then you'll come, I'm so glad. Then he fucks up. I hate this fucking panel. I was hoping you'd come, so anxious to have at least one of the boys with brains instead of those brawny athletic types. This imbecile thinks that she's just using him to be an egghead, and he fucking turns her down. I hate I hate when they do stupid shit like this. I don't want another Betty Brant situation developing again. Oh, Jesus fucking Christ. Stupid. All right. Now the looter comes in. It's a stupid name. We're going to use the looter. We're going to use an homage. The looter's going to be getting away with this fucking... It was a stroke of genius to employ this costume in the name Looter. So we're going to use this. This guy is going to be getting away with a meteor and a bag of cash. Good old school fucking villain. I never realized I made the grade as a scientist, but I've never cut out to be a scientist. My latest talent lies in crime. So we're going to have this guy leaping through the city, some parkour shit. Right? At the apartment of Norton G. Festa. And the lays of file, the looter keeps his vow, employing his super strength to the fullest. He becomes a one-man crime wave. What we need is somebody getting away with something. Peter's swinging in to kick his ass, and in the midst of it, he gets taken out. Somebody cuts his line. He crashes into a fucking dumpster, into a wall, something. Standing over him is going to be Craven the Hunter, and of course, Craven will be revealed to be the Chameleon. We want to get right into it. I want the Chameleon to say, hey, fuckface, I'm the guy. You are what I need. I need you to come with me. Chameleon needs to bring Peter to the Sinister Six. Peter might just go along with it. We shall see. Peter goes to a science exhibit. Gwen sees him there. I wonder if this could be my chance to really get to know him. The problem is, of course, when some shit goes down, he runs away. I would love to be able to build a contraption like himself. Wouldn't it be a blast if people found out that old rough and tumble Spidey is really a dyed-in-the-wool scholarship student and science buff? I hope he comes see me and come over to me. She's annoyed with him. He sees the meteorite. Okay, good. A stolen meteorite from the Science Museum. That is what I'm looking for now, the new meteor. If it contains a gas pack, I've got to have it to ensure my power. All right, he runs away. The unmitigated coward, he's running away. This always annoyed me. I always wanted Peter to tell Gwen that he's fucking Spider-Man. So this is good. We have the exhibit. We have the looter. He's fighting the looter. This should teach you not to go around looking for trouble. I'm glad you found it. Thanks for the advice, Mass Bam, but I still prefer getting it from Dear Abby. One thing's in my favor. I'm lucky he's new at this sort of thing. So they fight inside of a science exhibit. My escape, no common brawler. It takes a few more shattering blows. Come back, little sheep. I want to make sure you didn't skin your knobby little knuckles. I got you, looter. He fucks the looter up. Ace in the hole. The dazzle gun. He's blinding me. He's blinding everybody. We used the blinding thing in the beginning of this story when he blinded all the Dr. Octopus thugs from the Master Planner. The giant ship. The vision becomes normal. The crowd is sure to blame me if it happens like they always do. He's got to get the fuck out of Dodge. Comes back as Peter. Gwen blows him off. What do you mean what I did do? Perhaps what you didn't do. She thinks he's a coward. She's pissed off. She looked great. She's drawn great. It was stupid of me to blunder to the exhibit the way I did. I should have planned my move more carefully. Left nothing to chance. I failed to take into account that someone like Spider-Man might be there. And yet I can't not stop now. I must have that meteor. And have it I shall. But this time I'll set my plans up carefully. I'll be prepared for anything. He's inspecting the premise. He's looking at the meteor. Hey, puny Parker, none of the other guys are around. How'd you like to toss the old pigskin around? Can't stop now, Flash. Anyway, if I outthrew you, you'd have a fit. Peter Parker outthrowing the Flash? That's the funniest thing I've heard all day. Tell me, Gwen, when did I do become number one on your hate parade? She's smitten with him. I admire your good taste, Gwen. If you gotta hate somebody, Parker's the perfect choice. So now Peter's blowing it with Gwen. Peter knows he's coming for that meteor. So each one is waiting. The meteor in the correct position. They're moving the meteor. He's coming after the meteor. He's coming to smash it again. Hey, Lou, it'll be easy to leave without saying goodbye to your old sparring partner. So again, this is just a good old-fashioned looking for a MacGuffey, fighting over the MacGuffey. We're furthering along the relationship between Peter and Gwen. Don't play Crow too soon, Playmate. I'm not tossing the towel yet. Okay, I like the parachute angle. A helium balloon attached to the whole caboodle. Okay. Don't bet on it, chum. Us Spider-Men are hardly a breed. Geronimo, he jumps off the thing. You're doomed. You can't reach me. You'll fall to the ground. Not if my large economy side wedding does the job. It hasn't failed me yet. See, we've done the flying in the giant dirigible. Maybe not, but I'm sure gonna try. Odds are on my side. We can only use one hand. They're fighting in the air. We did the fight in the air already. We can't use that twice. Have you ever considered medical help because of your antisocial tendencies? You know, Spider-Man likes to fuck with his guys. Fucks with his guys. But we have the looter here. In our lesson today, we're going to use the looter. I just need a looter for a good throwaway. We can have him literally with the meteor. Lively or playmate. Make a solo the rest of the way. The police are down below. Shines the signal. They're captured. Coming next, the menace of the rampaging robots. So we don't need the robots. We know what we want to do here. By going through the comic books and using them as inspiration, mining like crypto, we know what we want to do. We want Spider-Man to take out a quick throwaway villain. His line gets cut. He crashes. The body standing over is Craven. We get to reveal the chameleon. We can even have a little like Ben Kenobi fun where the chameleon just kind of disappears. All right, so we have the two of them walking away. We got a corporate sponsor, kid. All right, the steaming cups of coffee. Our next scene. We cut to nightfall along Empire's city. As another night falls upon the Empire City. This is our narrative box, of course. As another night falls upon the Empire City, Spider-Man continues his quest to climb the criminal pyramid. His obstacles. We cut to nightfall along the Empire City. As another night falls upon. You know what? We can have Jonah saying this. Jonah, JJJ narrates. We cut to nightfall on the Empire cityscape. Empire City cityscape. Once again, lit up with advertisements and vehicles sprawling through in search of entertainment and adventure. An adventure like the Jetsons. JJJ narrates. Good evening. As another night falls upon the Empire City, we have seen no further development. We have seen no further developments in the Mars colony. We're calling it hostage negotiation, ransom. We have seen no further developments on the current threats, on the current threat to the Mars colony. The mayor has promised to continue with the pending celebrations. The mayor has promised to continue with the pending celebrations and the launch. And the launch is scheduled to go as planned. Now, of course, what's going to happen is they're going to maybe announce a different launch time to fool the terrorists. Good evening. As another night falls upon the Empire City, we have seen no further developments on the current threat to the Mars colony. The mayor has promised to continue with the pending celebrations, and the launch is scheduled to go as planned. Our brave scientists, this Fantastic Four, can we call them the Fantastic Four yet? Is that that's too cheesy on the scale? We cut the nightfall on the Empire cityscape, once again lit up with advertisements and vehicles sprawling through the search of entertainment and adventure like the Jetsons. JJJ narrates. And the launch is scheduled to go as planned. Good evening. As another night falls upon the Empire City, we have seen no further developments on the current threat to the Mars colony. The mayor has promised to continue with the pending celebrations, and the launch is scheduled to go as planned, albeit with added security measures. Do we want to go with the cityscape first? Or should we just go right to a shot of the Mars colony? Fucking bug. We cut to nightfall, and see that nightfall on the cityscape could be boring, unless it's just a small panel. Okay. We cut to nightfall on the Empire cityscape, once again lit up with advertising vehicles sprawling through the search of entertainment and adventure like the Jetsons. Okay. I like this. In the centerpiece of the lit up cityscape, we see a holographic projection of the giant spaceship that is serving as the home of the Mars colony. It is being shown off to the city by a holographic news report from Now magazine. JJJ narrates. There we go. I like that because instead of just the boring cityscape again, because we're doing that a million times, I can't stand reusing a shot. We're going to show the fucking spaceship. Like he's showing off the spaceship. Good evening. As another night falls upon the Empire City, We have seen no further developments on the current threat to the Mars colony. The mayor has promised to continue with the pending celebrations, and the launch is scheduled to go as planned, albeit with added security measures. Even if, and let Jameson throw it again. Even if some of us still think it's a bluff. Even if some of us still think it's a bluff. We see a close up shot of the holographic projection showing a silhouette shot of the four brave astronauts preparing for the mission. While we will learn later that it's the Fantastic Four, the stream will be interrupted by a criminal before we can get a look at them. We see a close-up shot of the holographic projection, showing a silhouette shot of the four brave astronauts preparing for the mission. While we will learn later that it's the stream will be interrupted by a criminal before we can get a look at them. Which means the holographic, it's got to do nice description for artists, which means the holographic projection will be sliced through by an escaping criminal on a sky cycle, which tears through the hologram. Which tears through the hologram and makes it sputter out into a cloudy distortion. So the idea is you see this big holographic projection. In the middle of it, he's about to say this fantastic, you know what I mean? And then SFX of the sky cycle cutting through the hologram. Boom, I like that. I like it. I love it. I want some more of it. We had a chance to sit down. We had the opportunity to interview this soon to be famous quartet of astronauts. We had the opportunity to interview this soon to be famous quartet of astronauts, braving their lives to help continue the mastery and conclusions of the human race. We had the opportunity to interview this soon to be famous quartet of astronauts, braving their lives to help continue the mastery and conclusions of the human race. Astronauts, like my son John. But this is no time. But this is no time for upstaging. Like he's got to throw his son out there, like he did in Amazing Spider-Man 1. We had the opportunity to interview this soon-to-be famous quartet of astronauts, braving their lives to help continue the mastery and conclusions of the human race. Astronauts, like my son John. But this is no time for upstaging. This is the time to get to the bottom. This is the time to get to the bottom. No. But this is no time for upstaging. He wants to talk about his kid. This is the time to get to the bottom of this cursed loon. This is the time to get to the bottom of this cursed lunacy and expose the real menace behind the current state of chaos in this city. We had the opportunity to interview this soon-to-be famous quartet of astronauts, braving their lives to help continue the mastery and conclusions of the human race. Astronauts like my son, John. But this is no time for upstaging. This is the time to get to the bottom of this cursed lunacy and expose the real menace behind the current state of chaos in the Empire. I'm talking about cut off. I'm talking about he's cut off. The fucking sky cycle curves right through the fucking hologram. Close up on the cycle reveals the throwaway villain, the looter from Amazing Spider-Man 36. I'll send references. The looter is speeding along on his sky cycle, evading the police vehicles in pursuit. We see he is carrying a large meteor looking like object. We see he is carrying a large meteor looking like object. He is holding a large hammer, and the meteor has a tube sticking out of one of the holes. So we're doing like an homage here in this one shot. We're doing homage here to the fucking looter. He was the guy in the comic book. He's trying to like reignite his powers. And right before he's about to do it, Spider-Man swings across and just fucking clotheslines him. I like this. Like a fucking literally swing across. Crack! You know? The looter is speeding along on his sky cycle, evading the police vehicles in pursuit. We see he's carrying a large meteor looking like object. He is holding a large hammer, and the meteor has a tube sticking out of one of the holes. Close up on the looter as he attempts to smash the tube into the hole of the meteor with his hammer, hoping to trigger an effect that will grant him powers. Right as he is about to strike his hammer, he is taken out clothesline style by the leaping and spearing Spiderman. SFX of the clothesline, taking out the looter. And the sky cycle. And meteor flipping around into the open sky above Empire City. Boosh. Close up on the looter as he attempts to smash the tube. He wants to reinvigorate his powers. And right as he's about to do it, he's just fucking taken out. God damn it. Look, we got it, guys. 2 new pages in our script. We're going to have to add a 7th panel, though. Why do this to myself here? Do that. Do that. Okie dokie. As we close in on Spider-Man, swinging across the sky with his captive, the looter. As we close in on Spider-Man swinging across the sky with his captive, the looter, he will be interrupted. Close-up shot shows someone shoot a projectile that slices Spider-Man's web line. Close-up shot shows someone shoot a projectile that slices Spider-Man's web line. SFX of the slicing web line. Always underline your SFX. Okay, so we're going to lay this out here before I forget. We'll move these notes to page 10. Page 11. All right. With his line cut, so we're just putting this in his notes. We're not writing pages 9 or 10 today. We just want to put this in and we're leading it. With his line cut, Peter crashes into a wall or a dumpster where he will be confronted by what looks like Kraven the Hunter, who will soon reveal himself as the Chameleon, the killer, the one who killed Peter's parents. Like, we don't need some big reveal. We don't have to. A lot of writers will do that. They'll drag out the reveal. Let's get the reveal, like, right fucking here. Chameleon just saying, fuck you, motherfucker. You gotta come with me. Who will soon reveal himself as the Chameleon, the one who killed Peter's parents. We can have him reveal it here, or we can save it. It's all about story. He will fuck with Peter until backing off, almost disappearing, as Ben pulls up to save Peter, having monitored what happened to him during the takedown of the looter. See, the looter gets away. I like that. With his line cut, Peter crashes into a wall or dumpster where he'll be confronted by what looks like Kraven the Hunter, who will soon reveal himself as the Chameleon, the one who killed Peter's parents. He will fuck with Peter until backing off, almost disappearing as Ben pulls up to save Peter. This is our Scarecrow moment. Remember, like when Batman thinks he's fucking shit up, and Scarecrow throws a fucking fear bomb in his face. We need something like this. He doesn't even have to reveal himself to be the chameleon. He can just be Craven. Spider-Man can freak the fuck out. He'll like back up, and as Peter tries to reach, Craven will disappear as Ben comes into the light. The effect of Craven disappearing and Ben showing up to save Peter after his crash. Okay, so we have page 9 starting to lay out page 9 and 10 for the next class. So let's finish it up here. Okay, I'm talking about Jonas trying to fuck with Spider-Man. Looter comes crashing through. Close up on the cycle reveals the throwaway villain, the Looter from Amazing Spider-Man 36. The Looter is speeding along a sky cycle, evading the police vehicles in pursuit. We see he's carrying a large meteor looking like object. He is holding a large hammer, and the meteor has a tube sticking out of one of the holes. Bang, we have police radio. Looter on the loose. Warning. Looter on the loose. Looter on the loose. Warning. Looter on the loose. He has stolen a rare meteor from the He has stolen a rare meteor from the ESU science lab. The specimen is volatile. The specimen is volatile and unpredictable. Do not try to apprehend this looter. Looter on the loose. Warning, looter on the loose. He has stolen a rare meteor from the ESU science lab. The specimen is volatile and unpredictable. Do not try to apprehend this looter. Close up on the looter as he attempts to smash the tube into the hole of the meteor with his hammer, hoping to trigger an effect that will grant his powers. Here we go. Now we're going to give him the Amazing Fantasy line. Amazing Fantasy, yes, 15. Cover. I just want to get that exact line because I fuck it up every now. Just give me the fucking cover. There it is. And what was the looter's name again? Gotta come out of this real quick. Okay, we just need to get to the looter. Just forgot his fucking name. That's how much of a shit throwaway villain he was. Get the fuck out of here. Read now. Let's go. I just need the man's name. Microscopic living matter. What the fuck's the guy's name again? Here we go. NG is a part-time nut. What the fuck? Fester. They mocked me because I'm too smart to work, too clever to hold down a job. Everyone's jealous of me. You guessed it. Nestor G. Thornton. There it is. Oh, God, why did they have to make it so small? Though the world may mock Peter Parker, the timid teenager. So I kind of like the line here where he says, just because I flunked science in school doesn't mean I can't discover the secrets of the universe. Nestor G. Thornton. Right? Is that his name? Dun, 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 dun. Norton G. Fester, right? I just like this line here. They mock me because I'm too smart to work, too clever to hold down a job. Everyone's jealous of me. We can't plagiarize the line, though. So we need something similar. The world may have mocked. The world may have mocked me, Norton G. Fester. The world may have mocked me, Norton G. Fester, but they will soon marvel at the amazing, the amazing. As he's about to strike his hammer, he is taken out clothesline style by the leaping and spearing Spider-Man. SFX of the clothesline, taking out the looter, and the Sky Cycle immediately flipping around into the open sky above Empire City. As we close in on Spider-Man swinging across the sky with his captive, the looter, he will be interrupted. South Park Bandit Subway. Shut up. As we close in on Spider-Man swinging across the sky with Kelly, he will be interrupted. Okay, so we need a quick little wise ass line here before he is cut off. So we have the looter. The world may have mocked me, Norton G. Fester, but they will soon marvel at the amazing loot. He's taken out. If you close in on Spider-Man swing across the sky with his captain, he'll be interrupted. So we just need the slicing of the web line. We don't need a line here. We just need a line here, and we are done. Didn't your mother ever tell you? Didn't your mother ever tell you not to play? Didn't your mother ever tell you not to play with dangerous objects from outer space? As we close in on Spider-Man swinging across the sky with his captive, the looter, he will be interrupted. Didn't your mother ever tell you not to play with dangerous objects from outer space? From outer space! Cut the line. No, let him finish the line. Didn't your mother ever tell you not to play with dangerous objects from outer space? Close-up shot shows someone shoot a projectile that slices Spider-Man's web line. The slicing of the web line. When we come back for our next class, we're going to crash him into the wall or dumpster. He'll be fucked with Craven, which you think is a ghost. And the idea will be he'll get shot with some gas. Chameleons, I believe that the chameleon's molding abilities, shouldn't be able to just be anybody he sees. They should be involved with some sort of touch. His power should be based in touch. He's got to touch Peter in order to kind of absorb his likenesses. So I want that. Okay, let's put that in there too. That's why he's got to get close to him. Chameleon needs to get close to Peter because his molding and disguise powers are based on touch. He has to touch someone before he can mimic their likeness, like a deepfake. Ooh, yay! Ladies and gentlemen, we did it! We did it and we're done! 2 pages in the books, pages 7 and 8. May fate and faith decide your fortune if you should win and write great comics. Buy a copy on the new Faro's Lounge Kickstarter. The only place to get your AracKnight textbooks. If you've gotten this far and you love writing comics as much as I do, we'll see you for the next one. We have finished Act 1. We are bringing the chameleon into the fold. So that's it, kids. That's your class today. Peace, love, and war. All that shit in between.